All right, this is Tuck Taylor. This is episode 4 of Beast Thinking Podcast with special guests
Q Collins, the barber, cut above the rest.
So every time we kind of come in here, we kind of like we're at like same stage business wise. We kind of started out doing what we did.
It's always
at the same
like that,
time.
right?
We always like because you're essentially reinventing yourself. I'm reinventing myself. So what's the process of reinventing yourself feel like?
The process of reinventing yourself.
For me, it's a bit. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a little scary. I've been training since 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Been known for that for a while. That's what kind of like you said, you're known in the streets as Q the barber right now. Everybody know you as Q.
Right.
Everybody knows Tuck as, owner of B.E.A.S.T Athletics, trainer, all that type of stuff. And now I'm really bringing something new to the area and really starting a kind of a new industry.
Right.
And so I feel like the applause gets real low when you start something new. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of going through that transition phase of doing that. But, us both knowing about how life works and how the brain works, we know that we keep on pushing through, and eventually people are going to be all up to speed on what we're on, and it's going to be passe at some point.
Exactly.
Because B.E.A.S.T Athletics was one of the first gyms of its kind in the area when we started, and now there's a bunch of gyms and stuff, everything popped up after that.
Right.
And so I feel like the same thing is going to happen with Beast Thinking, is we're essentially bringing in the whole mental training game to sports, to life, to all that, and sooner or later people are going to catch up and be like, oh, I want to do the same thing, or I feel like I want to do the same thing.
And I believe, bro, the reason why it's so scary is that we understand people now.
Right.
We understand that people don't like change.
Right.
They're scared of change, and they're scared to have an open mind.
Right.
As crazy as that sounds, and a lot of people, they'll deny that, but they're scared to have an open mind, to see past what they've learned or what they were taught.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like we're the ones to show them how to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they could just open up their mind and be willing to listen. Not just hear, because a lot of, you can hear but not listen.
Right.
It's two different things. But reinventing yourself, that's what you have to do. And that's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, I believe.
100%.
Because you have to always be willing to grow.
Look at Jay, man. Look at Jay-Z.
Right.
Rapper. Then he went to clothing line, club owner.
Right.
He's always done something to reinvent himself. He had a sports agency. I don't know if he still has it or not.
Oh yeah, I think he's playing for that right now.
It was Rock Nation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got KD too.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got KD or not, but
He's definitely fighting that. Definitely fighting.
So I think one thing too is for me personally, I wanted to kind of disrupt the program that was running. So meaning that I realized that Tuck is really like this program that's been running for the past 35 years, and Tuck has its habits, Tuck has its nuances, and now that I've kind of become a lot more conscious of myself, I know that now I can mold the Tuck into whatever my consciousness wants it to be.
Right.
And my consciousness is really just pulling me towards evolving the Tuck into this guy that's going to help other people become conscious of their program that's running, so they can really truly become what their true self wants to become.
Right.
Because this outer shell, we became what we became out of what we saw. All the stimulus was dropping into our mind, and we saw somebody play basketball, so we played basketball. We saw somebody train, so we started, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You saw somebody be a barber, so you're a barber. So now it's like, now that I'm conscious, and I'm able to tap into my higher consciousness, I'm ready to do what it's telling me to do. Right. And have the Tuck mold into that.
That's like in high school, bro. One of the most influential basketball players back when we were in high school, I would say
Allen
other
Iverson.
than Allen Iverson
Okay.
was Jason Williams.
Oh yeah.
Jason
White
Williams
chocolate.
came out
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
cross and put it under his shirt, hitting it
Yeah.
around the back. You know,
Yeah.
it's a no look passing,
Elbow pass.
elbow passing.
Yeah.
We was all doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
that's what we saw. And that's what we wanted to emulate.
AI was definitely that dude. Though.
AI was that dude. AI was that dude. AI was that dude with the crossover, brother. Had us breaking our own ankles trying to recreate that. You know what
And
I'm
that's
saying?
kind of funny too. How we talked about change, how coaches was like, don't be doing that. Don't be doing that crossover like that. Do this normal. And
we
now,
won't say any names on the coaches.
no, we won't say any names. We ain't
But-
gonna name no names.
But the ones who balled with us, no.
we ain't gonna say no names. But
Yeah.
but what I was gonna say is it's now I'm friends with other people that are skills trainers. They teach the Allen Iverson crossover.
Right.
Like that is an actual skill set now. But it was so extreme. It's like, oh, that's a carrier. That's this. That's that. Nobody wanted you doing it. But how change again?
Right.
Change happened in the game, and now everybody does it.
Right.
So I think anything new is gonna come with some backlash.
Yeah. I feel you. And if I had to give like any advice on like young cats, man, like our age, watch who you follow. Watch who you follow.
Facts.
And be conscious of where that person is going that you follow. You know what I mean? If that person ain't going where you want to be, then you gotta pick somebody else to follow. More than anything, find your own lane within it. You know what I'm saying? It's good to follow people and ideas, but following everything they do is a no-no for me. You know what I
Right.
mean, I've always had people that I would admire to a certain degree, but I would add what they had
To what you got.
and to what I have,
Right.
and then I would make my own lane.
That's called evolution right there, man.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about. But right now, I believe, we're raising a generation of followers.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Instagram.
Right. Get your followers.
Followers. I follow this person, I follow that person. And then a lot of people are consumed with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're consumed with that following, man. And that's not what we teach them.
One thing you said about watching who you follow, that's something we teach in the B.E.A.S.T thinking brain engineering classes is the fact that we have these specialized neurons in our brain called mirror neurons.
Mm-hmm.
And they help us survive and thrive in our environment. So it's the same neuron that tells a baby that he needs to get up and start walking.
Mm-hmm.
He sees other people in his environment walking, so he gets up and starts to mirror the same thing in order to survive and thrive in this environment. So I say that to say this, if you are putting yourself in an environment that's not conducive to the person that you want to become, your biology is going to make you become like these people that you might not want to be like all the way. So
Right.
you're going to pick up their bad habits and pick up all the things and the nuances that they do
Mm-hmm.
and not be conscious of it. You can't help it. It's part of how we have evolved as human beings.
Right.
So if you're not conscious about, and it's not even the people that's in your actual physical environment. It could be somebody that you're following on Instagram, somebody that you're watching on TV. So if you're not consuming the right content, you're not going to be able to evolve into that person. Now, on the other hand, if you are deliberately following someone that you would like to mimic and be like, you're going to naturally pick up a lot of their positive characteristics and traits and skill sets, and that's going to become you, and you can make it your own.
You gotta have a team, bro. You gotta have a team.
For
In order to be successful, the team gotta be right. If your team ain't right, you will not be successful at all.
You gotta cultivate your team.
Yep.
I guess that's one of my biggest lessons is just making sure that my team is meeting their goals within the confines of the company.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, PK, you good? Nate, you good? Kendra, you good?
Right.
Hey, and then if they're not good, or I feel like they could be doing, better at something, I tell them. Any kind of constructive criticism or anything that I think that they could be doing to enhance what they already got, the talents they already have, I gotta let them know.
Right.
Because they are B.E.A.S.T athletics right now.
Mm-hmm.
What has been, you feel like, your biggest mental hurdle as an entrepreneur?
Mental.
And I say entrepreneur, folks, because this man is not just a barber, man. This man has a lawn service. You still do the insurance thing?
Yep.
Got the insurance thing going on.
Tax.
Tax.
Yeah, we do it all.
Hustle,
We do
man.
it all. We got it going on.
So what you feel like has been your biggest mental hurdle to get over?
I don't know, man. I would say mentally it's learning how to delegate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be my biggest mental hurdle. You know, because growing up and going through things, man, you know, I grew up with trust issues.
Right.
You know, and understanding that it's not just about me. You know, because I would be like, man, if I don't do it, it won't get done right.
Right.
And I feel like that's the wrong mindset in business, because if you train your people to do it right, and then you hold them to that standard, then they'll do it right. You know what I'm saying? They'll never be you exactly, but you teach them how to be the closest you that they can be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's the way you want your business to run.
Right.
You know? So I would say the biggest mental hurdle for me would be getting better with delegating. Taking a lot of that strain off myself.
Yeah, I would say, and my struggle, I would say, has to do with delegating, is just dealing with burnout.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
And burnout isn't a physical thing; it's a mental thing.
Mental.
And
That's
so,
worse than physical.
right. Oh yeah. And I think that's where I feel like, you know, I haven't found the answer, but what's been working for me of lately is just that meditation, man. It's just taking that time to shut my eyes, put some noise canceling headphones on, and giving my brain a break.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Because what thing people don't know about entrepreneurs is too is like you trying to double down on your strengths and also run a business and be, you know, this likable guy and all that type of stuff too. So you gotta sometimes stop and have some conversations and all kind of stuff while you trying to get some work done. Ain't that right, Adam?
That balance, man.
Right. Being able to, you know, still be that guy, but also set those boundaries and just be able to just have enough mental space to get everything done.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't feel like there's enough hours in the day to get everything done.
It's hard, man, when it's hard to have a business and friendship mix. It's hard for that, especially when both of y'all are not on the same page. Because sometimes you may have one, like homeboys that you want to bring on because you want to help them and you do this and that, and they're not on that same page. They don't have the same understanding you have. Like, listen, we cool, but at the same time, I have a business to run.
Right.
So if I have to put the hammer down on you a little bit, understand that it's not personal and it shouldn't affect our personal relationship. Right. But a lot of times it does. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why
100%.
They'll say like, me too. Me too. So they'll say like, man, don't mix business and friendship.
But at the same time though, you know, I got, you know, PK as my GM, and there's some days I'm just grateful to have someone that knows me as well, because then he could be like, hey Tuck, man, you good? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people you got in your business right now? It's like, hey Q, you good?
Right.
Because your homeboys do that. They recognize like changes in you.
But that goes to the point of having business and friendships where they're on the same page.
Yeah, right.
They understand and they know that you have two sides that you have to be at times. You know what I mean? But that friendship wins. You know what I'm saying? So if I see my boy, that's my boss or whatever at the time, and he's kind of down, I'm gonna check on him as a homeboy, like, hey man, you straight? You know what I mean? Is there anything I can do better? Right. You know, and it's not enough for that either.
Because you busy lifting everybody up.
Right.
But when
who's there to lift you up?
Facts. That's I think the next challenge in being an entrepreneur is keeping yourself right. That balance between service and self. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, and I've told my staff this before too, I work for you guys. You know, I'm working to make sure, you know, you guys can get paid and you guys can have careers and stuff here. But then it's like, all right, who's working for me?
Right.
You know,
Right.
who's making sure tuck's right? And I think the entrepreneur has to be that guy that's self-sufficient on that. That doesn't necessarily need that. He can be that person for himself. It's gonna take getting away. It's
Yeah.
gonna take reflection. It's gonna take meditation to make sure that I'm getting out the full service today, right? Hey, I'll be getting this all the time, y'all.
I mean, that's just for, cut. Cut. That's just for camera purposes. I was gonna have him cut while I hit you with the,
right.
hit it with the thing.
Yeah, let's put my personal business out there.
Yeah,
bro.
see, I wasn't gonna put it out there, but I was waiting. I was gonna hit that, then hit it with the, you still recording? Outtakes.
Like, man, the front of his hair look a lot darker.
I know, like, wait a minute. Somebody catch it. Like, hold on, man.
No, but that's been my thing, is just making sure I'm balancing selfishness but selflessness.
Right.
And knowing that in order to give, I gotta be full. I can't give if I'm empty,
Man, that's real, bro.
you know?
That's real.
What this stuff is the stuff to make my hair a little shinier, guys. It's just
Yeah.
this is the additive just for it's a little sheen. It's a little sheen.
Sheen.
I tell you I got the spray.
Huh?
I got the spray version of this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like it?
I need like a cardboard cutout because it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What do you use for me?
When I do your corners and stuff?
Yeah.
I cut a little thing like this.
Ah.
It's like a little flyer.
Ah.
Yeah. Let me show you. Can't give away all the game.
I got you.
Give away all the
I got you.
game.
So we talked about kind of the struggles of being an entrepreneur. What's one of the blessings? What's one of the things that you love about being an entrepreneur?
Oh man, it's a lot of things I love about being an entrepreneur, man. One of the main things is being able to call my own shots.
Right.
You know, which I'm gonna put a negative alongside that too. You know, like one of the negatives along with calling your own shots is having to be self-motivated.
Right.
See, a lot of people want to be business owners, but they're not self-motivated.
Right.
It's nothing to start a business.
Right.
Anybody can start a business.
Sunbiz.com right now.
That's it. That's it. .org.
.org.
So,
that's right.
You can go and start a business, but then what? Like, who's gonna? If you don't, and some people, this is where it comes to. You have to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who you are and how you are. Some people need to go to work.
Right.
Some people need to have somebody telling them what to do.
Right.
And to have an itinerary for them to do throughout the day. If you can't be self-motivated and push yourself to push your own agenda and itinerary, then being a business owner is not for you.
Right.
Because we can stay home all day.
Right.
But guess what? Ain't no money being made.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if
Right.
you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
And if you can't get yourself up and motivate yourself to come in and do a haircut or make a pie or train a session or record a session, you know what I mean? Then
Right.
you don't need to be your own business owner. You need to get that right first. Get your self-motivation up.
And I think,
and then go after
and I
that.
think too, you know, and my dude Gary Vee says this all the time. It's just it comes with a little self-awareness, and being an entrepreneur and owning your own business is really, really cool right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But people don't know the dark side.
Man.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Like again, on social, you're gonna see all the highlights.
Yep.
You're gonna see all the highlights, but you ain't gonna see that time where that account look weird.
Man, you ain't gonna see those late nights where you up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out how to make your business work.
What?
Or make a decision where you either want to still be in business.
Right.
You know, like, you got to be prepared for all those ups and downs, man, mentally. You know, because you can never really be totally prepared for it.
You know who wins at the end of the day? The number 2 guy.
Yep.
He don't got the pressure.
Yep.
He has the structure.
That's right.
And gets paid similarly.
Right. Very, very close.
Right.
Very, very close. You're right about that, bro.
So maybe some people out there that want to be number 1, really your goal should be to be a number 2 guy in the company. Which ain't a bad thing, man.
It's really not. It's really not, bro. Been a lot of times, man, I contemplated being that number 2 guy, man. But I feel like, you know, God had a different plan for me. And one of the most rewarding things, bro, that happened to me years back, bro, it was a high school kid came over here, and we was just sitting around talking. It was slow.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, your family had money, huh? Like, you must have came from money. And I was like, looked at him, bro, and it gave me chills, bro, because that's the furthest thing from facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all of my boys, I had it the worst. You know what I mean? Like, we were homeless, living in a hotel, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
No car. I had to work early, you know, at a young age.
Right.
But, you know, what it taught me is, it taught me how to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, as I got older and I had my dreams of being a barbershop owner or just a barber initially, you know what I'm saying? But being a barbershop owner, it showed me how to work. You know what I mean? Like, going through those struggles in life showed me how to work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like I'm a testament to all of the young cats around that's been through or going through what I've been through. That, man, winning is possible. You know what I'm saying?
For everybody.
Winning is
For
possible
everybody.
for everybody, no matter where you at right now. That doesn't tell you the end of your story. That just shows you the page.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It shows you the page right now, but it's not the end of your story. You can always make that better.
Right.
And that goes back to your brain engineering. You know what I'm saying? Being able to, if you can think it and then believe it, you can achieve it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And I always live by all good and perfect things come from God. You know what I mean? So these ideas and everything that we have that we can do better in life that come from God. Now it's on you to make that happen.
Right.
It's on you to go out and go towards those dreams and thoughts and aspirations. You know what I mean? But a lot of us get stuck dreaming and drifting. You know what I'm saying? Dreaming and drifting. You know what I mean?
So do you feel like the ones that do dream and drift, do you think they see that dream clear enough? Because to me, it was clear. It was clear as day. And it was like there was no going left or right. It was like, once it hit me, it hit me.
Right.
Like, I knew what I was going to be doing, you know? So do you think the ones that drift, do you think there is a lack of vision that's not clear enough? What do you think causes them to drift?
Fear.
Facts.
I believe a lot of what causes us to drift, period, is fear. Even now, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can have a fear of failure or a fear of investing in ourselves. You know what I mean? That's where everything comes from. I believe it comes from fear.
You got to be an entrepreneur. You got to put it all on the table,
You gotta
baby.
put it on the table
Like
and
risk.
not be scared to lose, because
Right.
losing is gonna happen.
Ain't no such thing as losing.
Well,
Either you win or you learn.
right. I can say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you learn about money that you've invested in yourself that you lost, it's a learning experience.
100%. 100%.
You're
You know not
absolutely
to invest in
You
that
know
no
not
more.
to do that. So, about what we talking about, drifting or?
Why people drift away from the dream?
Yeah, I mean that can be a few things too, but I think for the most part, it's fear. It's fear, and a lot of it is just surroundings. You know what I mean? Them homeboys that you tell, like, man, I got this good idea, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do this and do that. And the ones that can't see the bigger picture, they tell you, like, man, you stupid, bro. Like,
Right.
what make you think you're gonna be able to do that? You right here with us.
Environment.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your environment, man, your environment is everything, bro. And I was just talking to a friend the other day, and he just opened up a little business. Well, I ain't gonna say a little business. He opened up a business, and that's what I corrected myself on when I was talking to him. I was like, bro, I gotta come check out your little spot, man. You know, this and that.
Right.
And then I thought about it. I was like, man, you know what? I apologize. I said, you know what, bro? I apologize for even referring to your vision as little.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? As a homeboy, I apologize for that.
Right.
Because there's so many people that belittle your vision. You know what I'm saying?
Especially the ones closest to you.
It's the closest ones to you. But I corrected myself immediately, because I don't want him to ever feel like I don't support him,
Right.
or I don't have his back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? As a friend.
Right.
And that's what a lot of us are missing.
Right.
But be careful about the people who reference to your dream and your vision as little in any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? That can have an effect without you even knowing.
Right.
So,
That kind of goes back to what we talked about before too. Is just like it's hard for sometimes when you make that shift, because when you start a business, that means you made a shift from being whatever you were doing before to being a now entrepreneur. It's hard for sometimes the people that's known you forever to even see you in that light now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why a lot of times we don't get support from our friends. And a lot of entrepreneurs can attest to that, man. Like,
Right.
it's a lot of people I know, they don't support me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because maybe they can't get past the old Q they knew.
Right.
Or the old Q they thought they knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're like, I ain't going over there, man. It's all good.
That's cute. What you talking about?
Right,
You know?
right. Man, Q ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Or Tuck ain't doing that.
Right.
Tuck ain't talking about elevating your mind and meditating and stuff like that, man. You
Right.
know? So people can't look past your past.
Right.
They can't look past your past, and I think that's a lot of where that comes from, man.
So what tip would you give? What advice would you give Q at 16? If you can go back and see yourself at 16 years old, what advice would you give him now about life?
Man, 16-year-old Q, I gotta go back to that.
Point
Oh,
guard,
for one,
point guard for Palm Harbor University High
point
School.
guard, running back. I would tell that Q to focus on his goals. Focus all of his energy towards his goals. Don't get so caught up in relationships and girls and all that stuff, man. Focus on his goals and believe in them. Because 16-year-old Q, he had a lot of stuff going on. He had a lot of athleticism, and he felt like he knew everything. You know what I mean? Which a 16-year-old is supposed to do that. But how would I put it? Because I can't put too much on my parents because of what was going on in my life at the time. You know, I had to
Best they can do it.
right. I had to grow up fast.
Right.
So it wasn't that my parents wasn't parents. It was just that it was mainly me. It was on me. You know what I mean? My mom working late, so it's kind of like, bro, listen, if you don't want to go to school and all that,
Right.
that's on you. If you don't, that's on you. You're gonna have to live with that.
Right.
You know, so making those decisions at an early age, you know what I'm saying? I would tell myself, like, man, stay focused. You have dreams, stick with them. Don't get caught up in everything going on around you.
That's why I think a lot of young kids don't understand is just energy.
Yeah.
And that if your energy is scattered, there's no power behind scattered energy.
No.
You know?
No.
But there's a lot of power in concentrated energy.
Mm-hmm.
When you focus all of your energy on one thing, that's what makes that thing happen and happen fast for you.
Oh, for sure. That's for sure.
Like, I get so many messages from parents. I get so many messages from parents now about, can you talk to my son about Fortnite? Can you talk to my son about focusing? He's playing these video games too much.
Yeah.
And the only message I could give him is like, is Fortnite gonna make you a better basketball player?
Mm-hmm.
Is Fortnite gonna get you a college scholarship? If the answer is no, then you're wasting energy in the form of time focusing on that.
Right.
Like, why spend any energy on something that's not progressing you?
Right. Man, I was just reading this book, I think it was by Earl Nightingale, and he was saying what success is.
Uh-huh.
Success is going progressively towards a worthy idea.
Going progressively towards a worthy idea. Whew, I
So
like
basically, that's having a goal and knowing where you want to go, and just like you said, making positive steps towards that goal. Because if you have goals and you're not making steps towards that goal, what are you doing?
Right. Right.
You're drifting.
Right. Facts.
You're drifting.
Facts.
So how can you be better and successful without making progressive steps towards your worthy idea? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's like a self-check moment when you can sit back and you say, all right, what did I do today? what did I do today towards
Growing
what
my
I want to
brain.
do? Yeah, yeah.
Put money in my pocket.
Right. What did I do today? And that's how you shake yourself. A lot of times we do what the masses do. Okay, when we have time, we go home, we do nothing.
Right.
Watch TV, we do nothing because we deserve it. Which we do deserve the chill and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But we also deserve to better ourselves and to grow to what we really want to be. Even if you working a job right now, you know what I'm saying, you can use
Man.
some of that spare time
Man.
to work to who you want to be.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So don't look down on yourself because you work a job and you want to be a business owner. You just have to now dedicate more time towards what you want to be, making those progressive steps towards your worthy idea.
What are you
You know
doing
what I mean?
between the time of with 9 to 5? You know, what are you
Right.
doing between 6 and 10 p.m.?
Right.
What are you doing between
Right.
6 and midnight? Like, that's time you can be further in your kingdom.
Man, I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest distractions is social media.
100%.
Biggest distraction. You know, a lot of people, man, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get on social media, and 2 hours will pass by without even realizing
I
it.
call that browser blackout.
Man,
You just
what?
swipe it, and then you like get out of it. You're like, what have I done in the past hour?
Right,
Nothing.
right. Nothing at all.
Sometimes you can't remember what you looked at.
You don't because you just swipe brain on autopilot, man. Brain on autopilot.
So when you talk about, so what was that Earl Nightingale quote again?
Success is progressive direction towards a worthy idea.
So,
That might not be verbatim.
okay. So say it again one more time.
The progressive
Progressive
steps, I'll say steps. Progressive steps towards a worthy idea.
or the idea. So do you feel like sacrifice then is not delegating any time that you don't deem worthy to that success? So even if it might, like sacrifice, because now if I'm taking progressive steps towards a worthy idea,
Mm-hmm.
and something on the side gets my attention that might seem pleasurable in the moment, if I deny myself of that, that's sacrifice now,
Right.
right? So if I'm trying to take these steps towards this worthy idea, towards this higher idea of myself, and friends hit me want to go play Fortnite, now that's what true sacrifice is knowing that I'm progressing myself towards this worthy idea, but my flesh wants to play this Fortnite, but my true self is like, you need to be working towards this worthy idea.
Right. So not only is that sacrifice, that's elevation. You know what I mean? Because you're sacrificing that moment of pleasure to give your worthy idea, which is your inner self,
Mhm.
what it needs to be, where it wants to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's going to elevate you way past your friends or your competitors that choose to use that moment of pleasure instead of using that time to grow. And that's everything. That's everything.
And it's hard for them to see it in the moment, but like you've seen it. You know, we're in our 30s,
Right.
and
right.
we can go back and think about the kids in high school that didn't have any kind of concentrated focus on anything, and where they ended up, and the styles that they live now, that were doing everything everybody else was doing. Where are they now?
Right.
And the ones that had that, like they were locked in from day one, and where are they now?
Yeah.
You know, so to me there is a big difference, you know, and it starts, I don't think they realize how important it is to start to cultivate that mindset when you're young,
Right.
you know, because it's never too late for nothing, but the way that we're wired, you can start training yourself to be that person right now when you're in high school by just
This is
locking in.
That's when it starts, bro.
It
It
does.
starts right here. It starts in middle school, really.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really have to start focusing on your craft and what you want to do, is here, man. And I would say for me, bro, what the blessing in disguise for me and the way I grew up being poor and going through what I went through is it gave me a drive.
Right.
You know, and you got to find out what motivates you.
Right.
What motivates you, what pushes you to go harder and harder. For me, it's been that I've been poor before. I refuse to go back to it. I refuse to go back to being homeless again. You know what I mean? So that motivates me to continue to grind, to continue to grow, to continue to find different ways to make an income.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot of people complain about not having a job, but they're sitting on gifts.
Right.
You know,
Ooh, sitting on
you're
gifts.
sitting on gifts. You know what I mean? You're sitting on gifts and complaining about somebody else not hiring you and nobody else giving you a job.
Man.
Like, bro, you got to see who you are. Find out who you are within yourself and stop waiting on other people to give you anything when God already gave you everything you need. You know what I mean? God already gave you all the gifts you're going to need to survive out here. You just have to go get it. Sunbiz.org. Start your business and start making it happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of people just sitting on gifts, man.
Sitting on gifts, man. That's profound.
For real. A lot of
That's
people sitting on
profound. That's
gifts.
so true, though.
Yeah. You can make your source of income. You don't have to wait on nobody to give you anything. And that's what I try to teach some of these little kids that come in here. They complain about, little stuff like, bro, you don't have to do that.
Right.
Be you. Create your wealth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's so many ways now.
It's too many ways.
Right.
It's too many ways out here to make money for you to be complaining about somebody holding you down. You know what I mean? Like, a bad situation, man, can't determine how much money you make.
So a good question. So if I was kind of putting myself in the shoes of one of the kids that you talked to, and you telling me that, people that complain about not being able to make money, they're sitting on gifts. What if I don't know my gift? What's a good way for me to find out what my gift is?
I would say do whatever draws your attention. You got to start doing stuff.
Right.
And that's the only way to really find out.
100%.
Start doing stuff, find your passion. Everybody's passionate about something.
Right.
You could be passionate about building stuff or breaking stuff down. You can be passionate about working out.
Right. Right.
Find your passion, and find what draws your attention. I would say, what draws your energy?
Mm-hmm.
What's pulling you towards it? Because a lot of times that's what our gifts are, is
Right.
what's pulling us
Sets
towards
our soul
them.
on fire.
Right. What are you passionate about? And I think one of the scariest things is a lot of kids are passionate about video games because they don't do anything else.
Right.
That's all that they do. So they're really passionate about that. So they have to get out here and just do some stuff, man. That's the only thing I could tell you. I would be like, well, what do you like doing? When I talk to kids, well, what do you like doing? You might say, oh, I like detailing cars. That sounds crazy, but I really get a peace of mind. A lot of cats surprisingly say they like cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They say, like, man, it really relaxes me when I cook. All right, cool. You like cooking? So let's start putting our energy towards that. Really dig into cooking. Really find some recipes and cook for people and see how they like it. You never know what can come out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So find what's passionate for you and don't go off of what your surroundings try to give you.
Right.
Like growing up in the hood, man, most of what we had is sports. We push sports so much, on everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we have so many other gifts as kids, you know what I mean? But growing up, we suppress those gifts in a sense because what we're being pushed towards, we're being
Put in
pushed
a box.
towards.
Put everything in a box.
Yeah, everything in a box.
What Tuche said, either rap or go to the league.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And he hit it on the head,
right.
bro. Growing up where we came from, bro.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We put so much on sports. When football season come around, when basketball season come around, we all in the kids. We all in the kids' life. Oh yeah, do this. What team you play for? This and that. But what about the other stuff that they're really good at?
Right. Right.
We don't feed that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
that's where we as adults have to get better at.
Right.
Man. We got to feed these gifts, man, because I believe in what you feed lives and what you starve dies. So if we don't feed these different gifts and let these kids know that they do have other options, then...
And with me personally, my gift, I felt like, evolved through kind of going through sports.
Right.
Because I love sports, man. I love, especially basketball, man. I love everything about the game. But when you were talking, I was just kind of like thinking, I was like, well, I started out hooping, and then I liked the workout aspect from hooping. So then I started becoming a trainer. Then when I really discovered what I like about being a trainer is helping people change. And I realized that change happens from the brain.
Right.
So then I got into the brain.
Right.
And so that led me to where I was at. But I would say that my advice would be, whatever you're doing, just go hard at it.
Right.
Just go hard. Because that's how you're going to discover what it is at the root, what you really, really like.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I found out, is just by going hard as a basketball player, by going hard as an entrepreneur and a trainer, I discovered that I am obsessed with transformation.
Now, do you believe that that's something that was taught, or that was something that was in you?
The being obsessed about the brain?
No, the brain is the end game.
Oh, it was something that was in me all the time. I just
Right.
think by going hard, it revealed itself to me. Also, you know, me becoming in the age of consciousness, being conscious of like how I feel while I'm doing something.
Right.
What makes me become alive. And it's the, man, like, you helped my daughter out to the point where, you know, there's nothing we can do to ever repay you.
Right.
I had a conversation with a girl. Don't remember having it, but she was suicidal, and something I said to her talked her out of her suicide attempt, and parents were extremely grateful for it.
Yeah.
And like that, there, when they told me that, I was like, whoa. Like, it hit me. I was like, this is my purpose. This is my path now, is to help people understand themselves better.
Right.
By understanding their brain and understanding their biology, so now that they can become greater than the body, greater than their environment, and start to actually create their own reality.
See, that's dope too, because kids can find themselves a lot earlier.
Man.
You know, they can find themselves a lot earlier than in their 30s, where, you know, where it took me, like, I've owned the business for a long time, but I'm just really learning how to really do it.
Now,
you know what I mean?
facts,
Now,
me too.
I'm just now learning how to really do it.
Right.
You know, because being young, you just go off as OJT, on the job training, but it goes past your skill set. You know what I mean? It's a mental game first. I did it backwards. You know what I mean? So if you get the mental game first, everything else will follow.
Right. And whatever you touch is gonna be gold.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, you can get into whatever. If your mindset is right, wrapped around that, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
It's gonna work. My hair looks really good, by the way. Appreciate that, man.
You did that.
I always feel like a new man coming out of here. So I always like to do something different each podcast in closing. And so with this one, issue a challenge out there. Issue a challenge out there, a mental challenge for the youth. We talked a lot about the youth today. Issue a mental challenge for the youth out there, to something that's going to challenge them and help them become a more conscious, more aware individual.
All right. I would say to mimic like what you have going on, I challenge the youth to give themselves an hour a day. And what I mean by that is no social media, no homeboys, no girlfriends, no boyfriends. I challenge you to give yourself an hour a day to just think and meditate. Meditate on what drives you, what you want to do, and write it down. Hour a day for a week. Till this next episode. I know y'all can tune in to his station. 1 week, an hour a day. Write down. Write down whatever you think about. And then start going towards it.
I like it. So you guys hear that? 1 hour a day, kids. Focus on you, get a little introspective, be consciously aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and do that every day for an hour. Put that phone down.
Put it down. Operation Put the Phones Down.
Facts.